Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Fun Astrology Podcast. It's the 29th of June. We are wrapping up the month tomorrow with a big thing in the sky that we're going to talk about. Hi, Thomas Miller here on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thank you for stopping by. Going to be a little different today, so if this is your first time, what you're going to hear over the next few minutes is not our typical format. Well, it is to some degree, but I'm going to bring a little bit more personal story into this than I normally do. Typically, we keep it broad and general for everybody, but there are a couple of springboards that are leading up to this. First of all is the aspect in the sky today at 4:40 this morning. Venus trines Chiron. That is a fiery trine because Mars trined Chiron back on the 22nd last week. And now here we are with Venus approaching as well. So Mars is still in this. We talked about that extensively yesterday, so I would refer you back to yesterday's episode if you didn't hear that, as far as the kind of the characteristics of Venus and Mars and how they're just standing alone there, basically. All right, so we're bringing back the karma party again. We've talked about that multiple times, but here's the other one, and I wanted to camp here more today, and that is Neptune turning retrograde tomorrow. So we are thick in the full-on strength of Neptune right now, and we will be tomorrow too, because that retrograde station is at 5:06 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Time. So we've got all day today, all day tomorrow, with Neptune just baking on us. So I pulled a couple of thoughts, because Neptune, I have realized, is one of the most pivotal planets in our charts. So we'll talk more about the structure of the retrograde tomorrow, and then we'll set up the weekend. But today I wanted to just camp on Neptune because, look, Neptune is about, at the end of the day, Liz Green's theme in her book Neptune. It's returning to highest source, which she terms as redemption. I've been narrating about this in the re-narration of Levels of Energy for Fred Dodson. It's all about that we came from source. We forgot source, we were given this map in the sky, and now we're trying to return. And Chiron's wound, showing up again today, related to Venus and Mars, is a big part of this. But I think when we get down to that nitty-gritty question of why the heck am I here, we can't ignore Neptune's influence in answering that question. And you know, here's the other thing. Many people will live their lives and never get this, because they are so based in the physical world. They're in their mind, they're in their ego, they're planted in the physical, and they do very well successfully in the world's perspective. They may have all the toys, but they miss the inner journey. And that's the separation of Neptune. The depths of redemption that Liz Green talks about are for those who will dare to judge their life's success by how much they connected to higher source during this lifetime, not how many toys they have. Now, does that mean you relinquish toys and you can't be successful if you choose to follow this higher spiritual path? Not at all. In fact, I work with one, Fred Dodson, who has accomplished both sides. In fact, his higher journey, part of that was creating the financial success. It's all part of a well-rounded package. So where Neptune is in your chart, what house and sign it is, and what aspects it's in, helps determine your path back to redemption. Now, for just a minute, here's where I'm going to get a little bit more personal, because for me, Neptune is part of my what I call Marsentune, 3 planets in Scorpio, all at the same degree. The Sun, Mars, and Neptune. Marsentune. You look at them together as one. It's one entity, Marsentune. Interpret that. No, but here we're going to separate them, because also when you apply the nodes of the moon, for me, which is South Node Aries, and North Node Libra, which I say is make love, not war, when you put all of that together, then you see that, for me, Neptune is about deep, intense inner journeys. I came equipped to dig it all up and out, if I could or chose. And in that digging, there's the battle, because Mars is right there. They're on top of each other, so always fighting the self, the sun, for that higher ground. It's all outlined in the Subconscious Mind Mastery podcast, about as open of a book of journal that you could possibly have. The good, the bad, and the ugly, it's all in there. But all these old battles are buried up in Scorpio's depths, and I just had to get conscious enough where I could focus on going in there and pivoting things. Still at it. will be until the day I die, and I realize that. So every day is part of this journey to the depth of the soul. And then the pivot is to turn that into a beacon of love. So as we do the work, we start to shift powerfully into the spiritual. So then we shift even the scorpionic influence and become a beam of light, the sun, Mars amplifying it. A lighthouse, if you will, not a scary creature with a poisonous tail. And that's something that Neptune has me face and choose every single day. Which is it going to be? And Neptune reflects so much of a paradox. On the one side, the shadow side, addictions, lies, deception, escapism, confusion, guilt, not seeing clearly and believing that you are seeing clearly. You're lying to yourself. And then on the other side, this highest intuition, the connection with the home office, as we've said so many times. I love that. Inspiration, visions, guidance, seeing around the corner. Neptune is ecstasy as opposed to near psychosis. It's the truth versus lies. So a couple of things that I've done to shore up my Neptune is, one, I created a team of advisors. These are people who know me well. They also believe in astrology and they follow it. I wouldn't choose them otherwise. And they are my team of Neptunian advisors. So because Neptune is so darn strong in my chart, when I get the foggies, I go to my team. Not as a sounding board, tell me what to do. I'm laying down my rope. You tell me which way to go here. And I trust them that much. Then the other thing I've done is just shored up speaking the truth. For me, the Neptunian deception came from trying to keep peace from my mother, who always got upset with anything that you did or said. And out of the blue, like, bam! So my early priority became keeping the peace and just keeping safety from those emotional outbursts rather than, is this true or false? The bigger question was, what's the safest thing here? Well, I abandoned that. Now I just say it. Mom's gone. It's like, okay, don't have to worry about that. And if anybody else gets offended, I'm too old. Have a nice day. I guess that's one of the entitlements of being down here where I am on life's timeline, is you can get away with that. And I use it now. It's like, speak the truth and let it land. If you can't handle it, you can't handle the truth. Okay, not my problem. But here are some questions that you might consider to think of how you can adapt Neptune to the high side. So one of the questions would be, where am I being deceived? And you can pause this and go back and review these questions if you'd like to really do some work. Where am I being deceived? And then flip that. Where am I doing the deceiving? Am I in a fog? And about what? What's causing the blurriness? Who can I trust for advice? And then set a time to ask them to be on your team. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them you need some Neptunian guidance periodically. But make sure they're living the kind of life that you would like to live, because you're going to lay down the rope, and when they tell you to do X, do X. That's why it's, like I said, not a sounding board. But your life is going to take on some of the characteristics of the advice they give, so make sure it's the kind of life you want to live. And then, what kind of lies can I clean up? Who do I need to go talk to? Then visualize speaking the truth. And finally, start working with intuition, because that is your ultimate guide. Have a couple of good audiobooks that I narrated for Fred. One is called The Intuitive Awareness Method. The other is called Intuition Training. Both will get you started if you need that. And then when you feel clouded, sit with guidance. So that's things like meditating, going for a good walk, going for a hike, doing what you do to tune in and plug into your home office. Do yoga. And finally, watch your diet. And watch the substances, because Neptune is about escapism and addiction. So if you're going to something external, to check out, numb up, chill out, relax, put the day away through this substance, every time, I'm just going to say it, you're choosing the low side of Neptune. Like I said, for myself and for all of us, with this particular crossing in the chart, what are we going to do about this very substantial life issue? It's a choice every single day. I hope that helps a little bit. I'm going to slide out of your world, and I will see you back tomorrow for the weekend setup and Neptune retrograde.